What is up, you guys? It's a new week, so you know what that means. It's a new episode. And this episode is the Dallas Cowboy edition. We're strictly talking Green Bay versus Dallas. Green Bay beat Dallas today, 48-32. And now we'll be advancing to the NFC divisional round. The Cowboys are out of the playoffs. It's not the Cowboys' year, and it's time for us to have a conversation about these things. How there could be some coaching changes and player changes going into the offseason for Dallas. The development and growth of Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. And also, kind of how a lot of people owe Cam Newton an apology for what he said pertaining to Tua and Dak, and how it looks like his words, in a sense, came true. So let's get into the episode. Me, from the beginning of this game, Green Bay had all the momentum and control. When I tell you I am so impressed with Jordan Love and his development and progression, it is one thing that I think goes unnoticed sometimes in the NFL is that some of these quarterbacks are bag-ups at times, and if they're waiting for their moment. And for Jordan Love, it is so very clear that he studied and took advantage of being behind Aaron Rodgers. And it was during this game I saw flashes of Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love. I'm talking about literally you have to blink a few times and scrub your eyes to make sure you're not looking at Aaron Rodgers, because his mannerisms and mechanics in the pocket, the look off, the sidearm here and there, getting it into that pocket, freezing the defense and getting the ball out. It just looks so Aaron Rodgers, so man. I don't know what to say about the Green Bay Packers and their development of quarterbacks. You have Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and now you got Jordan Love walking into Dallas, into Jerry's world and saying, I don't care about none of this. I'm rolling. 16 for 21. He had 3 touchdowns. Very efficient night for him. Now, I will say this. The Cowboys, I had them winning this game against my better judgment. I felt like, man, this is the year. CeeDee Lamb is rolling. Dak looks like he's limiting these interceptions and mistakes. They're doing something. This defense, kind of iffy at times, but they're doing something. And then I see why I don't always have much faith in them, because then you see games like today. The Green Bay Packers did not just, I guess you say, win against the Cowboys. They straight up beat the Cowboys. Beat them. Yes, beat them. As you see in these highlights, it's like every throw Jordan Love was throwing was a touchdown. It seems like every run Aaron Jones was doing was a touchdown. He had 3 touchdowns. Like, I don't know what beef Aaron Jones has with the Dallas Cowboys, but it seems like when he plays them, he'd be up to another gear. Like, somebody needs to ask him about that. But their defense was clicking. You had the interception right there by Jair Alexander. Then you have another interception that Dak is going to throw in a minute, and it's a pick 6. So, the Green Bay Packers just look ready to play. And offensively, I think it starts with how Jordan Love and Aaron Jones set that momentum and set that tone very early on, that we're here to play football. You saw a lot of gaps in that defense of Dallas today. I think we've always seen it kind of a lot throughout the season here and there, but because they were winning games, you kind of overlook it. But there are some questions about Dan Quinn. I don't know if he's going to be there next year. That also goes into, do I think there's going to be some changes next year? I think there's going to be a lot of changes. I'm going to be honest with you. I really do. And that's a big conversation to have. To me, Dallas has had a lot of the weapons and the things that they need. They've had the players. It seemed to me that the offense was looking better this year than it did last year. McCarthy goes to the West Coast offense and everyone's saying, okay, this is finally working. And it's like, this happens. Like, you get into the games that matter. Like this, it's win or go home. And they straight up just look horrible. It looks like the play calling was a little off at times, not knowing when to run the ball versus throw the ball. Dak didn't look super comfortable. Looked like he was steadily making mistakes, trying to force the ball into certain pockets here and there that he didn't have to do. It just wasn't a complete game for them. And it sucks because to me, it was Dallas and it was the Lions and the 49ers in the NFC. I feel like it was one of theirs to take, one of theirs to get to the Super Bowl. That's how I saw it. And what I saw today is that I was completely wrong. Completely. Like, I don't know if this is karma for what happened with the refs saying that number 78, 72, 70 didn't report for the Lions during that game that a lot of people felt got cheated out of the Lions and Dallas wins. I don't know if the same ball don't lie came into play a few games later here. The Lions beat the Rams. I don't know. But what I do know is that Green Bay looks really good. They look really good. And for this young team, you can tell that they are seizing the moment. They look like they've been here before, which is the best compliment you could give a young team like that. Because most of them, this is their first playoff game. And you wouldn't have been able to tell. They didn't look nervous. They didn't look like they were just making these mistakes. They look so efficient, so ready, so precise. And honestly, I am very proud of that. I mean, I think we talk about quarterback play all the time in the NFL, but what Jordan Love did was very good today. Like, he's been having a great season. You've seen the evolution and the progression of him and the development. But this game was big. This is one of those games where you make or break yourself. And he made himself even more. He sat there and outshined Dak Prescott. Dak had 2 interceptions. I get he threw for about 400 yards, but he went 41 for 60. That's about 68%. You see the pick 6 right there. Like, it's things in the moment where you're just like, what is going on? At this point, the second quarter is about to be over. It's 27-0. You know that Dallas has to score a touchdown. You can't get out of this first half with just a field goal. Turpin gives a pretty decent run. And here you have them trying to find momentum. I think this, to me, was a pretty solid series for Dak. I think he understood the urgency. Like, it's 40-something seconds left, and we need to score a touchdown before going into the locker room for halftime because we get the ball back in the second half. If we come back and we score, then things change, right? Like, that's what you're looking for. To me, these were just really good play calls. I think this worked in Dallas's favor. They had a really good play call that kind of faked out the defense, which got them the ability to score the ball that you'll see in a minute. But to me, these are pretty good throws, really good reads and progressions. I think this is some of the best football that he played the entire game, and it sucks to say that because this is in the second quarter with like 6 seconds left. If he would have done this the whole game, if it's the play calling the whole game, is this a different conversation? I don't know. But we all know that there's a sense of urgency when it comes time to certain things like that. We all know that it really matters when you know you need to get scores before heading into that locker room. This was a good play call just to fake out, give it up, toss it up, then boom, Ferguson for the touchdown. And then you start the third quarter, 27-7. I'm thinking there's life, right? Like, they could do something. CD gets the ball there. He's getting some momentum. There was reports that there was some conversations on the sideline, some frustration. Looks like they worked it out. Let's get in our bag and go do something. Again, trying to get something. Ain't nobody there. Let me run. This ends up being a penalty, some extracurricular activities going on from 97 after the hit. He had him down. Don't know why the face mask was necessary. Don't even know if it was on purpose or not, but ends up happening, kind of, again, giving Dallas some life. This is where you would think the inexperience of the Packers would come into play. Can they keep their foot on the gas? Will they sustain the pressure? Got to throw here again. CD's cooking now. CD's going. This is what they needed, right? They're rolling 27-7 to start of the third quarter. You got to go get you a score. This needs to be 14-27. So they're cooking. They're rolling. A lot of glimmer of hope. Again, CD's catching them, okay? It's looking hopeful. You get this thing, your defense gets a stop, you get a touchdown. It's a different conversation. And again, we're thinking that bats it down. We're going to pause right here. This moment right here, third quarter, 9 minutes, 27 seconds left. Green Bay gets the stop, forces the 3 and out. Field goal unit has to come out for the Cowboys for them to get 3 points. This, to me, decided the game. I know a lot of people will say, Lachelle, why would you say that this decided the game? It's the third quarter. It's really early. They could kick the field goal. At least they're getting some points. And then maybe they can find some rhythm. Defense gets a stop. I'm telling you, this decided the game because it showed you that Green Bay was taking back the momentum. You want 3 points, you can have those as long as you're not getting a score because now you got to stop us. Because if we keep scoring, you're not going to have enough time. Our time in possession is longer than yours. So not only are we draining clock and being efficient, we're also scoring. So that, to me, that decided the game. Green Bay took back the momentum, getting that stop, forcing that field goal. And you see what ends up happening after that. They don't slow down. Again, look at this. Jordan Love's just going to keep cooking. We got the ball back. Aaron Jones, do your thing. They can't stop you. For some reason, he really always has the Cowboys number. I don't get it. Again, this play looks busted. He's finna get popped. Wide open, busted coverage. Dobbs doing his thing. That was a reoccurring theme throughout the night. A lot of wide open receivers being able to get there. Jordan Love staying in the pocket, taking hits if need be. Micah Parsons kind of got him right there, but he stays in and delivers it. At this point, this is just a big response. Your defense holds that offense to 3 points, takes that momentum back. Offense, go do your thing now. Aaron Jones said, say less. I'm already here anyway. I'm trying to get it going anyway. You have to look at Dak Prescott. He's calm, cool, and collected, right? Okay, go do something. It's 34-10. What happens here? You think it's something. First down, 2nd and 1, you get CD cooking again. That's your bread and butter. I'm not mad at it. Again, third quarter, 5 minutes, 52 seconds, clock's ticking. Let's get some momentum. Time is not on our side. Here we go. Another throw right open into the defense, and we got some movement here. Now, this looks promising, you guys. This looks like something's going to happen. Go for the run play here. Some positive yards. That's all you could ask for as long as you're moving the chains. This, again, looks promising, and they're doing something, right? Dak's going to roll out. Well, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to put my body up. Kind of tries to get it right there on that 2nd and 5. Kind of puts his body into danger right there. But it's 1st and goal now. Let's go get us a score. We need to make sure we're putting points. Because if we don't score right here, then we're in trouble. Tony Pollard runs it in, gets the touchdowns, 34-16. At this point, you're so down and the time is ticking. You got to go for the 2-point at this point. We're not kicking it. Dak's going to say, bet, let's get to cooking. He goes, rolls out, tosses it pretty much to Ferguson again. Got the 2-point. Then there's a flag. Let's see what they're going to end up calling about it. But it looks like it's going to stand, but then it looks like it's not going to stand. Ineligible receiver down the field. Take that 2-point off, and now Dallas has to kick the field goal, take those 2 points back. So now you got to figure some things out. Obviously, they needed those 2 points. You know that was a big deal, but instead they kicked the field goal, which is fine. We trust our kicker. Why not? 34-16. He should make this. This should be easy money. Bang. Hits the thing, and it's no good. So they're back to fighting for their lives. If you want me to be honest, that was the turning point. The game was over to me at that point. It's 34-16. It's third quarter, 2 minutes, 21 seconds, and y'all can't stop Aaron Jones from running the ball and getting first downs. If you're getting repeatedly first downs, then you're not going to be able to stop the game. You're going to have to stop them at some point, but you can't. So at this point, this is Green Bay's game. This is it. This is just extra practice. You got the little play action roll out, boom, wide open. No one's there. No one's there. It's a touchdown. It's over. It's over. Completely. Dallas Cowboys fans started leaving the arena after this. The life cycle of it. Dallas Cowboys fans starts. Season starts. You win some games. Fans get their hopes up. We them boys is our year. And then here we are. Choking the playoffs. That's pretty much where we are at this point of the life cycle after that touchdown right there. It's pretty much over if you ask me. There's no coming back. It's 41-16 in the third quarter with 1:27 left. That's a reality. There is no comeback from this. There's not enough time for you. It's just not. I don't care how many first downs you get. Dak's still trying, though. He didn't give up. Kudos to him. But at this point, the game's over. Jordan Love got out the game in the fourth quarter. Their second string was in a playoff game against the Dallas Cowboys. That's embarrassing. That brings us to the final score, 48-32. And let me tell you, again, there are some tough conversations to have if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, but really if you're in the organization. Because like I said, there's going to be some changes. Jerry Jones said he pretty much can't comprehend what happened tonight. They say he didn't really want to talk too much about the future of Mike McCarthy and all of those things. Big credit to Green Bay and Jordan Love, though, and that young squad and fighting how they did and commanding the moment. And like I said, not just winning a game, but beating one of the best teams in NFC and making a statement in Dallas. That's a big, tall task to ask a young team to do. And they answered the moment, they answered the call, and they went out there. That brings me back to Dallas. There's a conversation to be had, and it's time to have it. Dak Prescott got in the post conference, and of course, he was asked about the future of Coach Mike McCarthy. Of course, that's a great question to ask him. And he pretty much says that he wouldn't have had the season that he had, the success that he had this season, the improvement without Coach Mike McCarthy. And that he doesn't want that to go, I guess, unnoticed just because they lost. And that to him, he kind of puts out a pretty big threat. And I don't know if that threat's going to work in his favor to Jerry Jones. He pretty much goes on to say, if Mike McCarthy's name is on this list of people who will no longer be here, then you got to add my name to the list as well. This is where I get what he was trying to do, because you're trying to defend your coach. You're really trying to take the blame off of him. You're trying to put it on yourself. But my thing is, I don't think Jerry Jones takes too kindly to threats. We already know that Jerry Jones wasn't trying to give Dak that contract. He wasn't trying to give that much length of time on a contract plus all that money to him. We know that. So to sit there after this game that y'all lose knocks you out the playoffs, and to then get up there and say, well, hey, if his name's on the list, my name does too. Well, that's not going to help your case, to be honest. Like, if you're Jerry Jones, you're looking at that interview and you're saying, all right, like, cool with me. Like, fine. I don't think it worked in his favor to say that. Do I think that there are going to be some changes to the Cowboys next year? Absolutely. Again, they had all the weapons that they need at this point. I don't know if Mike McCarthy will still be there. I'd be kind of surprised if he is. I think if we all know Jerry Jones, he's a person that wants to win, and he wants to win now. I mean, Mike McCarthy is 1-3 in the postseason as the Dallas Cowboys head coach. I do think the West Coast offense worked really well this season, but there are some limitations, and possibly that conversation is about Dak Prescott. Do you go and try to draft you a quarterback this draft? And do you try to really develop him and kind of make him the guy? There are big questions to be asked, right? Will Dan Quinn be there as a defensive coordinator? I don't know. Do you sit there and kind of change your defense now, and the only untouchable is being Trayvon Diggs because he was hurt? Who knows? Is Micah Parsons an untouchable now? It's so many questions for the Cowboys, but I think we all know that changes are coming. You can't keep getting to this point of the season and being in the same life cycle that the Cowboys fans steadily are in all the time, where you're just coming up short. I mean, again, the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. That also brings me to say, y'all owe Cam Newton an apology. When that man sat up there and tried to tell y'all the difference between game managers and game changers, and he named his names, y'all called him everything but a child of God. But he was trying to explain to you the difference. He brought up Tua and what happened. Tua lost against the Chiefs and pretty much had a very underwhelming performance as a game manager. He said Dak was a game manager to him. You know, for a lot of people that this season that Dak was having, there was a real argument that he was a game changer. But then you see moments like this and you're like, well, man, Cam Newton might have really been right. And his whole thing of indicating and having the distinction between a game manager and a game changer is that game managers, their only job is to just not mess up the game. If you don't mess up the game and you do your part, we'll win. You don't have to affect the game solely with your play. You just can't mess up. And you saw the difference in Tua and Dak in these last two games for them. That, in a sense, yes, they are game managers. When they are not playing well, when they are sitting there and, in a sense, making those mistakes, it changes it for them. Dak having 2 interceptions and one of those being a pick six is a big deal. When he's not able to go through his progressions, that's a big deal. Tua didn't look comfortable in the cold yesterday. That's a big deal. So y'all owe Cam Newton an apology. Y'all said he was hating, he was doing all this. But right now, I mean, he's pretty much spot on. The only person that now who could try to change this narrative for game managers is Brock Purdy. And he got to go out there and do his thing. But right now, it looks like Cam might have been right about Tua and Dak. You guys, that's the episode for this week. I can't say enough thank you for just stopping by the channel and kicking it, watching highlights and us talking some football. Let me know in the comments how you're feeling about the Cowboys, what you think's about to happen in this offseason and what needs to be done, how you're looking at the Packers and Jordan Love and this young team and where you see them going in the rest of this postseason right now. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, share on all platforms. And again, I appreciate you guys so much every week for taking the time out of your busy days to come listen to me and come talk some sports. It never goes unnoticed. I'm immensely grateful. So thank you guys and see you next week.